hope you're doing well. Today what I wanted to do was make a video for those of you that follow me on Instagram who've been asking me about the Whoop band that I've been wearing for a couple of months now. So I did do a poll and most people said they wanted to know more about it. So this video is for you. If you're one of the people that didn't want to see it, well, don't watch the video, I guess. So before we carry on, I just want to tell you that I am not actually a Whoop ambassador. I'm just making this video because people want to watch it. I do have a refer a friend code that's like an affiliate code. You can click on that to get a free band and a free month of Whoop, and I also get a kickback for that. But that's just something that anyone that uses Whoop can have. So I'm not making this video sponsored by Whoop or giving you a kind of biased opinion. It's just my opinion after 2 months of using it. So what is Whoop? Well, basically it is an optical heart rate monitor that uses continual monitoring for throughout the day. You never take this thing off. It's waterproof and it measures two main metrics, which are your strain and your recovery. And then it uses a really nice kind of interface on the app and also on their website to show you how you're faring over the course of your training. You get a daily strain score that shows how much training load you've been under, but not just training stress from, say, cycling or working out, also emotional stress and all the other stuff that you do in day-to-day life. So, you know, your hours parenting and running around doing the school run is also going to be included in your overall stress score. You also get a recovery score, so that tracks your heart rate variability and resting heart rate. I'll come back to heart rate variability in a minute, and shows you how well you are adapting to any training you've done the day before. It also tracks your sleep, and all these metrics are combined to give you an overview of how you're faring day to day, week to week, and month to month. Whoop works on a subscription basis. So you pay monthly or you could sign up for the year, and you get a fabric band with a metal clasp. You also get a charger. This is a battery pack charger that slides on here to charge the Whoop, so you never have to take the actual strap off. And then you get use of all the cool insights and all the easy to interpret data. The plastic optical heart. Why can't I talk today? The plastic optical heart rate. Why does that sound so weird? The plastic optical heart rate monitor has two green LEDs. Now, interestingly, different coloured LEDs work better for people with different coloured skin tones. So that can affect the accuracy of the Whoop reading, I have heard. I've actually been wearing another tracker on my left wrist for some time, and when comparing the two, I found that the Whoop has been fairly accurate for me. The only slight downfall would be, I say, during really intense interval sessions, I have found that this can be kind of slow to detect what you're doing. So I wouldn't use this alone to track my bike workouts. I would just use my Garmin like I normally do, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I also know that you can wear the heart rate monitor on your bicep, which is also meant to improve accuracy if you are having any trouble with that. The strap does not have a screen, which is interesting and means you have to look at any data and add any workouts and stuff like that on the app. You can also connect this to Peloton or to your Garmin and stuff like that if you wanted to use this to monitor your heart rate. But honestly, I tend to use a strap that I always pair with my Garmin when I'm cycling, so that I just don't really use that feature. So what is it actually tracking? So as I mentioned, the Whoop tracks strain, and that is everything that goes on in your day-to-day life. It can automatically detect exercise because of the change in your heart rate. So it might notice that you've done a workout, and then you can go onto the app and you can tell it what workout that is, which gives you a nice overview at the end of the day, because you can see that you had, you know, your run, you had a nap because it can detect naps, and then you had, say, a cycling workout in the evening. You can see all those at the end of the day if it automatically detects those workouts and you tag them with the activity that corresponds to that raise in heart rate. You can also add a workout manually if it's not detected one. Honestly, I don't really bother doing this. What I'm interested in is seeing my strain score over the entire entire day. So aside from tracking your cardio load throughout the day, the other main thing that Whoop does is track your recovery. So you get your strain score and you get your recovery score. And these are also color coded like traffic lights. So red is a poor recovery score and a green is a really, really good recovery score. So one of the ways that Whoop measures your recovery score is through measuring your resting heart rate whilst you're asleep and also measuring your heart rate variability. So basically, heart rate variability is the difference in the length of time between the beats of your heart. Essentially, everything in your body is regulated by the autonomic nervous system. So these are things that you're not even aware of having to do, bodily functions that just take place on their own. And within this autonomic nervous system, you have two branches, which are the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic side is more kind of involved with the rest and recovery, and the sympathetic side is kind of your fight or flight mode, which will kick in when you begin training. So the sympathetic side actually decreases your heart rate variability, whereas the parasympathetic side, which is more rest and recovery, actually slows the heart rate and increases heart rate variability. Therefore, you could say that higher heart rate variability means that you are better or more recovered or experiencing less stress, because heart rate variability does tend to be lower with more stress. Everyone's heart rate variability is different, so you wouldn't compare your score to my score. What you do want to look for is trends in that, which is where Whoop comes into it. Basically, over the course of the first month or so, you can track everything and set a kind of baseline for yourself, so that then you can spot whether your heart rate variability is higher or lower than normal, and you can see whether you are better or more recovered or, more stressed, whether that's through, lifestyle stress or training stress. Alongside the heart rate variability thing, Whoop tracks fairly successfully, I've found, your sleep, and it gives you a kind of breakdown of how well you've slept, the various stages of sleep, and it also tells you how much of the sleep that you need you are getting. Although I have to say, sometimes what it thinks I need in order to get enough sleep is not quite what I think I would need. More on that later. So one of the main things I like about Whoop is the way it takes all this sort of data and it presents it in an easy to read format on the app. Going on here, I can see how well I've slept, how well I've recovered based on the metrics it's been measuring, and these are all quite useful insights to me. There's also a journal option, so you can monitor various things you have or haven't done. So there's an option to say whether you've had CBD, whether you've meditated, whether you used your phone in bed, whether you've experienced stress. And then at the end of the month, when you have a look at the monthly report, you can see how all these things have affected your sleep and your recovery, and that is amazing. Seriously, when I got my first monthly report, I was just like, whoa. So taking a look at my stats for last week, I can see that the recovery week that I was doing actually worked, and I started recovering much better than the week before, where I had one really poor recovery day. I think that was due to a few beers and lots of fairly average recoveries. Last week I prioritised recovery and I've got my recovery score quite high, which means I'm ready to go hard again this week. So job well done. And that's what I like about using this. It helps me kind of adjust my behaviour outside of training. So it's not like I'm going to do different training sessions per se, although if I had a really poor recovery score, I might go slightly easier. I'm still going to be doing my training sessions, but I might notice that, hey, I need to go to bed earlier, I need to be less stressed, so I'll do some meditation, I need to do it's adjusting all the little factors outside of training that I find quite helpful, and it's quite motivating to see directly how changing those things affects your recovery score and things like that. Aside from the daily insights on the app, you have a huge amount of data to go through, something that I find really interesting on the monthly reports. So if you're tracking your habits, I, for instance, was tracking whether I was feeling stressed or not stressed. It's amazing to see the impact that those things have. When I'm stressed, my heart rate variability is down and my resting heart rate is up. And you might say, well, I could have told you that anyway, but to see it so starkly in black and white, it really makes me realise how much I need to prioritise stress reduction techniques or situations that cause me stress. So what don't I like about Whoop? Well, firstly, the price. It seems pretty expensive to me. It's $30 a month if you're in the US, or 25 euros a month if you're in, well, Europe, obviously. And that's a pretty hefty outlay for interpreting all this kind of data, because you can get some of this data from other sources. I have another fitness watch that also tracks heart rate variability. It doesn't present it in the same way that Whoop does, and it doesn't give me these nice monthly reports and recovery scores, and it doesn't have the red, amber and green traffic light system and stuff like that. You know, it's different, but the point is you can track your resting heart rate and your sleep and your heart rate variability with other devices that don't require you to have a subscription. I'm not so down with the sleep coach thing. I'm a person that needs a lot of sleep to feel my best, and Whoop suggested some fairly late bedtimes for me based on how long it thought I needed to sleep in order to recover. I just didn't really agree with how long it said I should sleep. I feel like I need longer. As I mentioned earlier, it is slightly slow to react to intervals, so I wouldn't be using it for tracking interval training on my bike. That's not so much of a worry for me because I'm tracking those things on my Garmin anyway. I would like it if it was a little better at auto-detecting activities. What I do like about it is how easy it is to interpret the data, how you've got the journal feature and you can tag in all these other things that you want to monitor. I really like the monthly reports, and I like the fact that it motivates me to adjust my behaviour because I can see in real time how that affects how I'm feeling and how I'd be able to train better if I was more mindful of those things. So at the end of all that, is it worth it? Well, you know, quantify whether a membership to a nice gym is worth it. It depends on the person. Are you into tech stuff? Are you into stats? Do you like journaling? Do you like to be able to track all these metrics? I really like that kind of thing, so I'm definitely going to keep using it for a while, and I find the monthly reports really insightful. What I like about it is that it motivates me to modify my behaviour. I don't change what workout I'm going to do necessarily based on what Whoop say. I mean, unless I had a really bad recovery score and I felt bad as well, that might motivate me to contact my coach and ask for an easier day. On the flip side, I like it if I wake up and I feel not on my game, but Whoop tells me that I'm good to go, and that sort of kicks my ass into gear, and I think, well, just get on with it. So all in all, Whoop for me is another interesting thing to track. I am that kind of person who likes looking at all my Strava stats, and I monitor everything. So for me, I'm going to keep using it because I enjoy it. So there you have it, my initial thoughts on Whoop. Other than that, let me know your thoughts.